Hello and welcome to Colred Plays Raid Shadow Legends. I am Colred. Thank you for joining me. So today we finally got the news about the new free legendary login champion. We've also got news about the January Fragment Fusion champion. Both of those champions, along with 3 additional new legendaries, are all part of a collaboration between Raid and the Monster Hunter franchise. So in today's video, I'm going to give you my quick impressions of those 5 champions and a little bit of history about the Monster Hunter franchise in case, like me, you've never played that series before and you want to know what the collaboration is all about. So if that sounds interesting to you, stick around. Okay, so we've got a bit of a video here from Raid introducing this collaboration. It's called Raid Shadow Legends and Monster Hunter Story Trailer Part 1. So I assume we're going to get a Part 2 in the future, but let's go ahead and watch this. It's a fairly short video.
Teleria is no stranger to powerful beasts emerging from mysterious portals, but never from a realm beyond our imagination. These otherworldly creatures, confused by their strange new environment, began to lash out at all who got close. But wherever there are monsters, there are those trained to hunt them, aided by a particular creature resembling a cat. Native Telerians were trained in the ways to defeat these awesome beasts. And one by one, they triumphed.
Okay, so as you can see, we will probably get additional information as the next 2 months unfold. It sounds like the collaboration will go until early March, the first week of March. Now, if you are like me and you don't know really that much about the Monster Hunter series, it is a game series that is celebrating 20 years in 2024. So the first Monster Hunter game was released in 2004, and there are many copies of this game, many sequels to this game, many iterations of this game, including Monster Hunter World, which is sort of an MMO, I guess, based on the series that came out about 5 years ago. Okay, so a couple of things to know. I did some research on the Monster Hunter series, and forgive me if I don't pronounce the names of these characters or races properly. I have not played the series. If you have played the series, definitely let me know in the comments below about proper pronunciations of any of the names, and also if I'm missing any of the lore or misrepresenting the game in any way. But as I understand, that little cat companion, whatever the cat that came through in the video and is teaching us how to slay these monsters, is part of a race called the Felines, and they're kind of companion characters and also like the unofficial mascots of the Monster Hunter series. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the 5 champions, and we can sort of explain some more of the lore based on those champions. Okay, so here are the 5 champions. It starts with Rathalos Blademaster. He will be the new login champion. We'll talk about him in another video. I'll probably do a full champion review of that champion in a separate video. Zinogre Blademaster. I think Zinogre is the right, Zinogre, right? Sounds like it's the right way to pronounce it. So she is going to be the Fragment champion in January. So you will be able to get both of these champions for free. Now, these other 3 champions will only be available from shards, at least as far as we know. I don't know if there'll be additional events during this collaboration that will give us access to these other champions. The 3rd champion here is Nergigante Archer. The 4th one is Elatrion Blademaster, and the 5th one is Fatalis Blademaster. Now, in the Monster Hunter lore, what happens basically is that champions, like these champions, the monster hunters themselves, the titular monster hunters, are player characters that hunt down these various monsters. And the names here, Rathalos, Zinogre, so on and so forth, those are the names of monsters that get hunted. So let's go ahead and look at one of these champions. All right, so here is Rathalos Blademaster, and as you can see, he is just a normal player character. Like, this is not a character in lore. The Rathalos is a monster in the lore. So in fact, the Rathalos was the big bad from the very first Monster Hunter game. And what happens is that when a hunter defeats a monster, they make armor and weapons out of their hides, out of their, teeth and claws. And so this is a Banner Lord who has been trained to defeat the Rathalos and has in fact defeated him, and then armed and armored himself with trophies from his kill. So pretty cool looking. And this will be true for every one of the champions. So every champion is basically going to be wearing aspects of the monster that it kills. And I guess they were all specialists. They primarily kill that one type of beast. And in fact, I don't even think Rathalos is like a character. It's more like a race. It's a race of creatures. They're kind of wyvern creatures, sort of dragon-like creatures. And each of the 5 champions that are introduced to Raid have specialized in killing one monster from the Monster Hunter series. And that is the name that they take on at that point. I assume Blade Master is simply because he's decided to make his weapon a sword. And in fact, 4 of the 5 champions are Blade Masters. And then the 5th champion is an archer. So here you can see the one archer, pretty cool. And again, she hunts the Nergigante and has turned that monster into her armor and weapons. Very cool looking champ, by the way. Now, some quick information about this collaboration. I don't have all of the details just yet, but as I understand it, this is an exclusive collaboration with another IP like Xena was, and also like the free login champions that we've seen based on real people have been. So for instance, Rhonda and Ninja and Alexander, all of those champions cannot be pulled from shards. And you can see right here that the following champions cannot be summoned from any shard. And right down at the bottom, we have Rathalos Blade Master, which is the free login champion, and Zinogre Blade Master, who will be the fusion champion. Now, I will do a separate review of each of those champions, separate video. But if you decide to skip on this fusion event, just be aware that Zinogre Blade Master will never become available after the fusion event is over. You will not be able to pull her from a shard, nor will you be able to pull her from a shard after the fusion event is over. She's a one-time access champion. So, I will probably default towards getting her simply because, one, as a content creator, I want to make sure I have access to a champion that people may use. But also because I want to do some content on my new Versus Pro in terms of helping players get their first fusion completed successfully on a relatively new account. All right, so that is it in terms of the information that we have right now. I think it's very cool that Raid is continuing to do these collaborations with other IPs. I am a little bit disappointed in the exclusivity idea. We've had, disappointment in the community. People have expressed frustration with not being able to get those champions. I prefer free login champions like Artak, like Wukong, who can also be pulled from shards at a later date. That way, players who come into the game today won't feel like they've been locked out of, champions from the past. However, I still think that collaborations with other IPs are cool. Hopefully, this will bring some new players into the game, some new interest into the game, and players of Raid who really like the Monster Hunter series will have 5 new champions to kind of get excited and geeked about and add to their rosters. Okay, that is it for today's video. Do keep an eye out for 2 more videos coming out in the near future. One about Rathalos, the free login champion, and the other about Zinogre, the fusion fragment event champion. Those should be coming out in the next couple of days. Thanks so much for hanging out. I have been Cole Red, and I will see you in another video soon.